Kumareu. That's all the French that I know. Kumareu. From now on, you will see the Son of Man by power. So Caiaphas is told from that moment onward, he will be the Son of Man. I hope my video has not started cutting out again, because sometimes I know it does that. And coming on the clouds of heaven. So the high priest of Israel is promised by Jesus that from then on, he, the high priest Caiaphas, who lived at the same time as Jesus, will see the right hand of power, and he would see the Son of Man coming on clouds of heaven from then on. From that moment on, he would begin to see that. Same Jesus who is in Revelation 1. Same Jesus. Not two different Jesuses. So the Jesus of Matthew 26 declares explicitly, unambiguously, clearly to a man standing before him that from this moment forward, you, Mr. Caiaphas, you, the high priest of Israel, alive in 31 AD, you will begin. And the implication is to continually see the Son of Man seated in the right hand of power, at the right hand of power, and coming on the clouds of heaven. The same Jesus speaking to John 30 years later, maybe 35 at the most, in 64, 65, maybe 67 AD, when John is writing the book of Revelation, because the book of Revelation was written before 70 AD. He tells John, who is a contemporary of Matthew, that every eye will see him, especially and exactly those who pierced him were now going to see him coming with the clouds of heaven. Do you guys see the conundrum here for those who are claiming that Jesus could not already have come the second time because every eye, not a high, where the cows, every eye has not seen him. But Jesus specifies which eyes are to see him in his own mouth, by his own tongue. He says Caiaphas is one of those that is to see the Son of Man coming. Or Caiaphas died somewhere around 67, 68 AD. We don't know exactly the year. But we know that by 67 AD, Caiaphas was still alive. There are some people who have postulated that Caiaphas later on believed in Jesus. There are some writings like that. I cannot confirm them. But we know that he was alive by the time John is writing Revelation in 64, 65 AD in Patmos. Those who pierced Jesus were to be present and alive when the Son of Man came with the clouds. You and I and every person living today is not included in the every eye that was to see him. Because I can guarantee you, and the Lord is my witness, you and I are going to live. Hopefully, many of us are going to grow old and toothless, and we are going to die. And our generation is going to pass just like the last 20 generations. Our generation is going to pass away. And another generation is going to come. The generation of children is going to come, and it is going to grow old and pass away. And another generation is going to come, and this will continue on perpetually. And none of the future generations to us will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven. None of them will ever see that. The only generation that was to see the Son of Man coming with the clouds of heaven is the generation of 70 AD. That is the only generation. Now, why did I say that? Because the statement to come on clouds of heaven, to come on clouds of heaven, is a common Old Testament statement that the Jews, that Jesus was familiar with, that Caiaphas was familiar with, that the disciples of Jesus were familiar with. This statement meant two things every single time throughout the time that it is used. Either it is God coming to deliver his people with great power, or it is God coming to destroy his enemies with great power. That's what that statement means. That statement has nothing to do with the physical clouds in the heavens, in the clouds. It is an idiom. It is a figurative, apocalyptic statement. Let me show it to you. Now, and because I'm going to show listen to you, I want you to remember, because I can't show you every verse. Jesus told the disciples that when they start going to the village Israel, if anyone rejects them, what were they to do? Let me just make sure that we are on one page. When Jesus told his apostles, if you go to a village, you find somebody who wants to receive you, enter into the house, your peace, rest into it. But what if they were to go to a village, to a home, and the person turned them away? What were they to do? Does anybody remember? What did Jesus instruct his disciples to do if anyone was to refuse to welcome them as they brought the gospel of the kingdom? Just one person, if you can type it there, because I'm kind of the teacher who likes to discuss interaction. I want to make sure that my students, or those who are learning from me, are actually engaging in reasoning. I don't want you just to believe me because I say it. I want you to believe it because you have engaged your mind that God gave you in order to reason. What did Jesus tell the disciples to do if someone turned them away? For the sake of time, let me just say it. I know somebody will type it. He said, I need you to shake the dust off of your feet. I need you to shake the dust off of your feet. And that shaking of the dust off of your feet is a sign, is a declaration of judgment upon that village, upon that household. I'm sure most of you remember that is in Luke, I think 10, when Jesus sent the disciples, the 72. Now watch this. Go with me to the book of Nahum. Nahum, however you say it, right? Nahum. We've never looked at. So see, the why I love these teachings and these broadcasts is that God always reveals a different way of looking at it to present the same information. So we are in Nahum chapter 1. So Nahum is gonna prophesy against Nineveh, an oracle concerning Nineveh. Now remember, Jesus is going to come with the clouds. Thank you, Martin Muthe. It is shake off the dust. Eric Waga on YouTube. So Martin. Martin, you are going to be my go past this one. So Nahum. Everybody have their Bible open to Nahum. Now, by the way, guys, if there is something that I'm doing that is causing you not to engage with this teaching properly, please type it down there. If I'm speaking too fast, I know sometimes when I'm excited, I speak very fast, and especially because I speak in a heavenly accent, some people from earth may not hear what I'm saying. So if you want me to speak slower, type there, speak slower, man of God. Acha kukibia. Anyway, Let's read. And